they take us to the journey, get inspired, and we hope to getting there as well, including me. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Dr. Yvette Mununziza, and I'm a medical doctor by profession, as you listened in my name. I am part of the WMI Medical Scholar Board. I'm not going to introduce WMI because you already know this. So, but there is a particular board of medical scholars. We introduced this in the DBC, but for those ones who are not there, let me share it with you. This is actually a new introduced board in WMI, which serves to mainly connect medical scholars. So as I myself, I'm the medical experience chair, where I'm in charge of just all of us here, be doctors, be nurses, be nutritionists, be midwives, be health professionals, occupational therapy, like everyone who feels in a medical profession to get to connect, to share opportunities, to share experiences, so that we are all there. So I also have two of my colleagues. I don't know if Maury can say hi. Maury have been sending you monthly emails about opportunities available, big grant opportunities, master's opportunities, job opportunities. There are monthly opportunities now being sent to you. I think you've been seeing the emails, but these ones are very much scanned. They're not scams or having other errors. And there's also my colleague, Anezai, who is more in networks, now chilling. So now, as my lore or the Medical Experience Share Board, we have previously had a webinar on how to get a master scholarship, like applying for all these opportunities. And now today, we are getting into getting job opportunities as well, because at the end of the day, we need good jobs. Yes, we have hospital work, but it's good if we get the promotion to go to the UNFPA. We also had a webinar on choosing residency program for doctors who were interested. So now we are coming to the jobs opportunities. So I'm excited to meeting you all. We are hoping that it's going to be engaging. Feel free to type your question in the comment. Feel free to interact with the speakers. Feel free to share with us your views as well. So by starting the webinar, I want to welcome our panelists of today. We have Dr. Ledru Benjamin. Dr. Ledru Benjamin, can you say hi can you put your video on and say hi?
You can see me, right?
Yes, you can see a very well-suited man, the ICAP man. Hi.
Hi. So,
yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Me to introduce fully?
You say?
You want me to introduce myself fully, or is just a hi and then we move on?
It's a hi. That's come
right.
after.
All yes. Right. Thank you.
So, Dr. Ledru Benjamin Jansuk was working with ICAP Colombia, South Sudan, as the HTS optimization advisor, and she has also had some other laws in other NGO on HIV concern. So today he won Achieving Scholarship, where he's doing his master's in epidemiology, if I'm not wrong, at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So we are very glad to have you today. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And all these people, all these 6 people on the webinar are looking forward to learn from you. Thank you, Ledru. We are also with the UNFPA guy, Dr. Jurugo Roberts. Can you also say hi?
Hello, everyone. And I'm glad to be talking to all of you today. Thank you.
Yes, glad to have you today, Jurugo. So now the webinar starts as we know each other. So, sorry, my audio was off. So to start our webinar, we have Judita. Judita has some internet issues. She's joining in a due. So I start with Jurugo. So Jurugo, would you tell us the benefits of working within a larger organization, like if you are in the UNFPA, how that differs from working, for example, in Rwamagana Provincial Hospital, where I am working now. So like, what would be the benefits of working on a larger organization than working in a smaller organization? Firstly, so that we choose whether we are remaining in this webinar or if we are all living and stay in a small organization which we are in. Welcome, Jurugo.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question on what the benefits are to work in a big organization compared to, a hospital that is in a small catchment. I'll tell you that the benefits actually stem from your passion. If you're passionate about directly helping patients, I think hospital work is really important, and this can be so beneficial to you and the individual patients in your community that you serve. On the other hand, working for bigger organizations, to just say the UN or any other international organization, is that there is vast opportunity for networking, because what you get to meet on daily basis, or if not, is that there are incidences, or most of the time you coordinate with people from different regions in your country or different regions in your continent or different countries globally. So I would say the networking is really vast. And of course, on top of that, you get to learn from other contexts. And then, because I'm talking from the public health perspective, you get to learn from other contexts, and then you'll be able to design strategies that solve specific conditions or situations in your area. That means you are able to adopt those strategies to suit your context. And I think really the importance of working with these organizations is the connections you get to make, and also the learning you get to get exposed to, and then be able to bring these learnings and contextualize so that you're able to provide services in your country. Just for example, my country, South Sudan, is an emerging country, and having worked with the international organizations and now the UNFPA, I have had the privilege to be exposed out there. And of course, this exposure has made me to bring these ideas in country, and I'm able to propose them that are fed into strategy setting and policy making. And I think that is basically the benefit. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ledru. I think as you are on the airport, the internet is a bit low. For the next question, you can try to remove the video maybe so that we catch you well. But what I've caught is actually that the hospital work is important, but impacting on the regional level and having a global impact, looking at the health perspective, because here we are all health professionals, would also be important. But I've been waiting to maybe listen on the monetary income and as well as the traveling, because I know even now you're on a travel. Would you also emphasize on that, Jurugo, like some other financial benefits or even social life?
I don't know.
You don't have to leave that behind
I
as well.
Say that is an interesting one. That is an interesting one. Let me put my video so that I can sound audible enough. It might be taking the widband. So I would say that the biggest organization in each country could be the government of that country, and could be the best employer, and it is sustainable. On projects, sometimes they are not sustainable, but as the money is there, yes, you can get money, and of course within short time, you can try to invest and probably go back for further study. But I would like to warn everyone that most of these international organizations work on projects, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years or 5 years, and they may end. But of course, I do understand that you are well paid off and you get to travel a lot and to get these connections, yes. But I still emphasize that the government of your country could be the biggest organization to provide impact in your country. And I think we should not undermine that really. Much as working for an organization is equally beneficial, but to build so that you can be part of effective strategy so that they are able to be captured. I think working for the government is good because at the end of the day, it's long-term and it is sustainable. Thank you.
Okay, we are going to be back on the sustainability part after, but let me now go to Ledru. So Ledru, would you kindly tell us the aspects to consider when applying for jobs in these big organizations? Like, what are the aspects to consider when applying for these big organizations? And after that, you were going to share with us part of your journey that you went through to get to the ICAP. Actually, a dream job that we may all have, but you don't have access to. You're welcome, Ledru.
You, Yvette. Maybe I should begin with the latter question, answering that, as in explaining a little bit of my job progresses until the last job that I actually effectively quit yesterday. Yeah. And then maybe I will come in with what I think are some of the aspects or tips on what to do. So I graduated as a medical doctor 5 years ago in 2018 from Kampala International University in Uganda. And then I had 1 year of internship, which is mandatory. And then after that, later in 2019, I went to South Sudan. And while I was studying in Uganda, we had this so much expectation that when you go back to South Sudan, you will get a lot of jobs with a lot of money. People think there's dollars everywhere, something that probably was true about 10 or so years ago. And so I went in 2019, and then I found it a little bit challenging. But after a month of resting from internship, I decided to take up a clinic job in town in Juba. I worked there for about 6 months. And in that time, I was being paid, of course, something relatively small. But again, when I compared with my colleagues, medical officers in Uganda, I thought I was either around the same level or even a little better sometimes. So I worked for those 6 months, and then I got my first NGO job with Relief International. Relief International works in about 4 African countries currently, but most of their work is in Asia and the Middle East. Just as the name suggests, they usually have projects that respond to emergency situations. So they were working in Sudanese refugees at the northern part of South Sudan. So I was taken somewhere to a very remote location to serve Sudanese refugees as a medical doctor at a health facility. Yeah, so I worked there for about 9 months, and later that year, 2020, I left Relief International because I thought I wanted to venture a little bit into public health. So I got another NGO job with Intra Health International. By the way, all these organizations that I've worked with are all American. Anybody can Google them up and maybe you read more about them. So Intra Health International is a little bit bigger in terms of covering African countries. It works in around 26 African countries plus others across the world. So in South Sudan, they took me as HIV and TB field officer to be located at one of the states within more or less my region where I come from. So there I worked for that whole year of 2021. And I thought perhaps my work was very, very excellent and appreciated. And then last year, 2022, January, I left Intra Health International to join ICAP. ICAP basically means Centers for International Programs. Their headquarters is in New York. It's a university kind of a project or organization. So I started with the ICAP January last year until yesterday, end of September, when my contract completely ended. I worked with the ICAP, as you mentioned, Yvette, in the introduction, HTS or HIV testing services optimization advisor. So with that brief work background, I think somebody who may have followed me will understand that I moved from, ward medical doctor to a field officer, and then to an advisory position that I left last month, or rather yesterday. And so this was a little bit of progressive kind of growth in terms of position, but also, yes, like Yvette, you mentioned it in terms of the remuneration, I mean, payment and stuff like that. These organizations, especially IntraHealth and ICAP, they are implementing partners of CDC, the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and they implement PEPFAR program in HIV, both of them really. And so they are not as big as you would think of the UN family, but at least the base is, as I've said, they have a large base of projects across the continent of Africa. So if you now ask me what could be some of the tips, I would say one thing is you should have the experience. Like when I crossed from Relief International to IntraHealth, I had basically very little to no public health experience, very little programming experience in me and stuff like that. And I also thought the payment was not that much different from my ward work. And I liked it, of course, so much working as a medical doctor. But people started telling me, first enter the PEPFAR family, you will grow from there. And I think I experienced it. So once I started building that experience with the IntraHealth, I mean, ICAP saw something in me because we actually worked hand in hand with them, with their staff. And that's how I grew. So experience would be one thing. Second thing I would say is, do you have the interest to work for that so-called big organization you are dreaming of? If you do have the interest, you are interested in what they are doing, the projects they are running, they are implementing, and of course, with your experience, that should be very nice for you, because then you will be at peace executing your responsibilities. Duty station sometimes is very helpful, especially in a country like South Sudan, where there are parts of the country that can be experiencing security threats many times in a year, perhaps. You might also want to consider that. But most of the big organizations that somebody might be thinking about should really ensure your safety. So duty station might not be so much of a problem, especially in other countries. Of course, your CV, curriculum vitae will be some good tool to make sure it is attractive to that big organization. And maybe we'll talk a little more about that in the few minutes ahead. Some organizations, how they recruit is a bit different. You apply, you explain your interest and stuff like that. Others just want you to send their CV, and then maybe they talk to you on phone. They can even have an informal discussion with you, and then they just take you up. So you just have to have, again, interview skills. Apart from your CV, you have to have those interview skills to back up your experience, your interest, your beautiful CV, and of course, your educational background. Every job requires a certain level of educational background. So I think those would be some of the tips I can give on this question, Yvette.
Yes, so thank you very much, Ledru, for saying the interest. I think for the traveling part is actually interesting. For me, I cannot say that this job I'm leaving it because of the travels, but you're quite different. But we agree that yes, there must be an interest. Yes, you have to have CV writing skills and doing your interview skills as well. But Ledru, let's say the truth, in Africa, I think that most here on the call, they're Africans. We know there is something of corruption within these jobs. Like there are some people who just have to pay to get, who think like you cannot get them without not having any connection. You cannot get this job if you didn't give any sort of money. I don't know if 45 people on this call think the same. Maybe they can write in the comments as they tell the questions as well. But let's agree that sometimes we think that there are some bad beings, like some corruption in between. What can you say about this? Because most of the time you can even say call of application on LinkedIn, for example, and then you see, no, how can I get this job? I know they just advertised, but they already have someone. So what can you really tell on this? Maybe for you guys, you have a background. We never know. Let's listen to you again, Ledru.
Thank you, Yvette. Well, I'll share about my experience crossing from IntraHealth to ICAP. Like I mentioned, they work hand in hand implementing HIV program. And my work at IntraHealth as a field officer was more like supervising what ICAP staff were doing was more like capacity building, facility level stuff. And so during my 1 year with the IntraHealth, because of that, working closely with the other partner, ICAP, honestly speaking, I think I became appealing to the ICAP staff in terms of what I was doing, how I was doing it, and maybe reports they were getting from their facility staff about how I was mentoring them. And basically, sometimes organizations, when they see excellence in you, they can come and do what they call headhunting. Headhunting may not necessarily be corruption to me. I don't think it's corruption. It's just that you've seen competence in somebody somewhere and you would want them to be part of your team. However, what you're saying, I think I get it, I understand it, that there are people who might want to go behind the doors and all stuff like that, but it's not something I want to say is a tip for working with the big organizations. Fine, if you have your network who can speak for you, but it doesn't require you to pay for that job to get that job, right? For example, Dr. Jurugo and I, we studied the same university. Now he works there, assuming I finish my master's course from the UK and I get back and there is a job with the organization he's currently working with, he will definitely, knowing who I am in terms of work, be able to speak for me. I cannot say that is corruption. It's about identifying competence and stuff like that. But yes, it also then goes into the point of networking. If you are able to build network with the people, professional network, it's not just friendship kind of network that is, you want somebody to speak for you even when you are not competent. I think that will also earn you. But this one of saying I pay you money to give me the job, I have no experience about it. I don't think it's a good thing, and I will not put it as a tip here. Thank you.
Okay, Ledro, with that, I have a question. So you want to mean that you went to the World Relief, to the ICAP, to IntraHealth by yourself? Like it was Ledro, the South Sudanese, there in the remote areas. You just got there by yourself?
I definitely applied, and I think my application appealed to somebody, and I got myself in the interviews. With the exception of IntraHealth to ICAP,
I think it
has been done. Yeah, sure. Why not? Thank you.
Okay, so I think that everyone here, like as a take-home for Ledru, let's agree we have this corruption thing in Africa. But I think what I took from Ledru, it was about proving his excellence. Like when he was in one organization, being supervised by another one, he tried to prove his competencies and he was recommended. So as what you can say that on this is just that wherever we are going to prove our excellence. That is what it can be my take away. I don't know if any one of you also had any other idea, I can share in the comments. But I think it just, yes, a medical doctor going to be a field officer, but then at the end, proving yourself so that you can be commended for some other jobs as well. So it's all about making a difference of where we are. We know corruption is there. I'm not also going against it, but let's agree that we can take his example of proving himself where he was to get a job in another organization. So now Jurugo, I'm back to you. Are you with us, Jurugo?
Yes, I am back. I got to some corner here. I hope it has very clear internet. I hope to have a better conversation.
Thank you very much, Jurugo. So my question is, Jurugo, you're going to tell the truth. You're not going to lie to us. And this time you're going to put on a video. So Jurugo, did you get to the UNFPA by yourself?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think it actually, that question you had asked, Leju, and I think...
Remove your video for the internet.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You had asked similar question to Leju, and I think he gave you a very elaborate question. But I think to answer this, probably this differs from one country to the next, because for the case of South Sudan, where there are so many international organizations, because it's a mix of humanitarian setting and development setting, and whereby organizations have strict means of recruiting people, I would basically say that there is some sort of transparency. So let me tell you a brief story about myself. Of course, I also completed medical school in 2014, did internship in Uganda in 2015. And when I crossed to my country, South Sudan, I started to drop my application for a medical officer position. And in 1 week, I remember in 1 week, I attended 3 interviews for Medical Sans Frontier, MSF, International Medical Corps, and International Rescue Committee. And I would like to believe that people that time in my country were not yet interested in working for international organizations. Most people are interested in working with the government, and of course, because the government jobs are most of the times are within the capital city, and the competition at that time was very less to work. It was very little working with international organizations, and of course, like Leju, I got recruited by International Rescue Committee, and I went to work in a refugee camp. That refugee camp was at the north of our country, similar to Leju, actually. We were hosting refugees from the Nuba Mountains of Sudan who had crossed to South Sudan. And the rest is history. Like what Leju explained, really, like we were working with projects that were funded by UNHCR, FCDO, Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office, and there you get to interact with people from different organizations. That means your network increases. And the most important thing is that in those coordination meetings, speak out, be able to represent your organization. And other bosses in those other organizations would be like, oh, I think it will be interesting to work with so-and-so. And next time they have a job offer, what they will do is they will say, we have an advert. Are you willing to apply? Usually that's what they say. So be proactive and apply if it is within the area that you want. You see, so from International Rescue Committee, I went to Relief International, I went to African Humanitarian Action, then I left humanitarian work and then came to work with John Snow Inc., working on immunization for the expanded program on immunization at the National Ministry of Health. And now when you're working in Juba, at the Juba level, that is the capital city, your networking space increases. And what you do is, if you're really in a new job, what as I clock 6-month job, I start to apply to other organizations. You see, so you have to practice, because to be honest, we are living in the time when we have internet, not like maybe in the 90s where there's no internet. These days you log online, you apply, and also when you apply, you can get guidance on YouTube or other websites on how to prepare for your CV. An appealing CV really might be different from the CV you've written for a clinical job in maybe a hospital. So the most important thing is be proactive, keep learning, ask colleagues. Like if you see someone who is a medical doctor and working in the public health sphere, who has not gone for masters, but is doing well, be close to this individual and have conversation. How did you reach to this level? And then you get to learn from this individual. And of course, by doing so, it becomes easy for you to, apply. That means your CV is well polished. And also when you're invited for those interviews, you're able to articulate yourself and convince the panel. And I think, to be honest, I have not gotten applying, compete with as many people as possible, and at the end of the day, you become the best candidate. But I would like to tell you this: I have moved so far, maybe in 5, 6, or 7 organizations, and now with the UN. It does not mean that I have been getting all the jobs. No, I have applied, I've been rejected severally. That means I have not been the best candidate in so many of these interviews. But also, I have been the best candidate in these jobs that I took. And the next job should be a landing point for the next. That should be your dream, so that you can grow. Because if you are a medical officer, that should not be your only dream. You should dream for leadership. If you're passionate about social justice, you should be able to read things on public health and how to look at equity as in social justice. How do you become a part of service delivery to the less privileged in your country, in your region, and globally? And I think if you have that passion, you don't have to need anyone to give you a job. What's important is you can have the connection. People will actually say, I would like to work with so-and-so. Please apply for this position. And when someone trusts you and gives you that opportunity, please use it and apply and prepare, because that is your pathway for growth. And I think by being proactive, by creating those connections, by connections, I do not mean the corruption. Connections, these are professional connections, because at the end of the day, like in public health or in medical care, you would like to employ the best candidate so that at the end of the day, you attain results. So please prepare yourself and become that best candidate. Do not wait for corruption or someone to say, hey, come and work here. These people are not your uncles. These people are not your aunties. They are professional colleagues. Why they are your friends is because you work very well and they would like to work on a project with you. And to me, this is not corruption. This is actually professional growth. And it happens in most of these technical spheres, and most especially in healthcare. Thank you.
Oh my God, Jurugo. I just love the UN voice. Did you guys listen to the UN voice? I was almost trembling. So everyone can actually share his insight in the comments. But for me, the first one was the UN voice. You can just listen that it's not from here close to Guamagana. No, not here. So thank you very much for mentioning about the mentorship part. But of course, having mentorship for connections. He said that many of these humanitarian agencies, because they are morally the big organization, these AHA, these ICAP, these UN things, they actually look at your brain, like they are at least more fair. No of corruption. He says about the uncles and aunties in there. I once applied for a job, I think it was in the intra-health, and you would see where they ask, do you have a parent working in this organization? Meaning they also look at that so that they're going to not to be some unfairness in there. So I also think that these ones, they are a bit fair. And he also mentioned something very important. He said we have to be proactive. And with this proactiveness, you're not going to write in your CV that I have worked as a midwife in the X hospital and now I'm coming to the UN. People, no. A CV cannot be like that. You just said when you are in an opportunity, you just prepare it as a pathway to the best one, which means you can start small and then you grow, and you adjust a CV in a way that it can coincide with the qualities they want, the person they want. Thank you very much for also bringing that. That also brings in an important part of contract. Remember, he said most of these jobs, they are on a contract basis. Maybe you are in a 1-year contract, you are in a 2-year contract, you are in a 5-year contract. So that means where we are now has to get a preparation of where to go next. So thank you also for mentioning on that, like trying to prove ourselves in whichever we are doing now, as also Leju mentioned, because it is a pathway to the best upcoming afterwards, given that these jobs are also contractualized as well. Good afternoon, Joy, you're welcome. Another important thing that I actually liked is that the rejection is okay. Oh my God. So sometimes you feel discouraged and you apply for like 10 and they all fail. You do 20 interviews and they all come negative. But he mentioned something on the persistence. Someone who is proactive has to remain persistent. Failing doesn't mean you are done. Let's keep going as he said. But Jorugo, I have a question. So does the education level matter in searching jobs in such organization? Like, what is the education level required? What is the competition? What is, like, try to give us an overview, but as part of the education. You're welcome again, Jurugo.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, education is probably the key when we were young, they would say education is key, please study, study. And of course, I think I am a testament to that. A good education really opens your pathway. And of course, if you want to work in a good hospital, you should have at least a bachelor degree or a diploma. The UN or the international organizations really take these kind of people, people from the degree and the diploma, less of the certificate. That means educational background is really, really, really important. And of course, much as education is important, that means your level of experience is important. Probably the first job you're going to get is of a low rank, and that will actually propel you to the next position as you keep working on. That means your level of experience, your level of education are important. But I would like to tell you this. If you have a bachelor degree or a diploma, you can get this job if you're proactive, you're applying, and you're getting mentorship, because on job trainings, skill-based trainings, these ones will really open your pathway. Within your country, you can get these jobs. But if you want to grow, and probably work outside your country as well as within your country, but in top leadership position, the most important educational level globally right now in international organizations or within the UN, at least you must have a master's degree. That means these are not, these are not, let's say, these are to go to a mid-level career. That means you need a master's level, at least a master's level. When you look through websites of international organizations right now and the UN, if the position is from mid-level experience to or senior level, they require masters. But of course, they will tell you that the years of experience will also be considered. But let me tell you that most of these organizations, to apply to them, you apply online, and the screening process, they use computer. If you selected that you don't have, of course, you have maybe 8 or 10 years of experience, but you don't have a master's degree, the computer will definitely remove you from the list of the people to be shortlisted. So the most important thing is to go as far as your master's level if you really want to be competitive within the UN, within the international organization. But also, as I had told you earlier, your diploma will be so much useful. Your degree will be so much useful for those entry-level positions. All of us, including Dr. Leju, has just gone for his master. We were able to work in our countries because of the degrees that we had. But of course, we were not working at top leadership position. But if you want to grow, you want to go to a manager position, you want your ideas to be taken seriously, I think the most important level of education is really a master's. And of course, what I would encourage you to do is, if you have worked for 2 or 3 years, please start applying for the scholarships, or if you're able to pay you after saving some money, please go for a master's degree. The good side of our of this world right now is that you can even study online. There are a lot of masters that you can do online. As you work, you can study. So I think the master's degree is an important level of education if you really want to propel yourself to a top leadership or top management level. But do not undermine your diploma that you have gotten in any medical program. Do not undermine your degree that you have gotten. But if you want to go far, you want to become an expatriate and work in other countries, I think a master's degree is really crucial. And I'll give you an example. As soon as I finished my master's degree at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and also the London School of Economics and Political Science, I started, as I was looking at my dissertation, I started applying around for these development jobs. You know, there's that sense of pride you get when you are now about to submit your master's degree. And I was fortunate to get a job in London with Option Consultancy, working with projects that were funded by the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office of the UK, supporting countries on sexual reproductive health and family planning in West Africa, East Africa, and Southwest Asia. And if I had not gotten master's degree, I think I was not going to get this job. So a master's degree is important if you want to find space at the global level, at your regional level, at your top country management level. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Jurugo, for mentioning about the master's degree. So he has indicated an important thing, like you are just there, you finished your studies 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and you're sitting like me without going back to study. People, let's go and study. That is my takeaway from Jurugo. Let's go and study, because so the one important thing that I recognize here, Ledru left ICAP, you know, the payment in ICAP Colombia, my dear, and went back to study epidemiology at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So you understand how a master's is important. He was having work experience, he was having his degree, he was having now connections to be able to go far, but he chose to go back to study. So that really means a master's degree is important, and let's go study. I don't know why I didn't talk about the PhD though. Many people here are just afraid of a PhD. Let's leave it for now because it's many years, but let's at least agree that within finding a job in these UN agencies with this World Relief, AHA, ICAP, and everything, Plan International, IntraHealth, where these people have been working, requires a master's degree at the forefront, and let's go study. So let me know if you agree with me in the comments, whether you're going back to study. Let's not be dormant in the hospital and spend 5 years there as if we are very comfortable with life, and yet we are applying every day for jobs and you don't have these qualifications. So we value them, and thank you very much for the insights. So for those ones asking on how to join a group of health professionals, Onezai has just shared a link in the comments. For everyone who is not in the group of medical health professionals, kindly use the link to join, because sometimes you also share these opportunities in the group. These webinars have also been shared there. Sometimes you talk and say hi. Sometimes we wish happy birthday and then go on with life. So consider joining the group via the link shared by Onezai. So now I come to an important question to Ledru. Ledru, I hope you are with us. You know, here as medical scholars, we are graduate scholars and they are student scholars. So we are, for me, I'm a graduate scholar and some others here, but a medical scholar here can literally ask himself, like, how can I get prepared? Like as a student, maybe volunteering, or I can just sit down comfortably in the university and still get the chance to get a job. Like as a student now, I'm not yet a graduate. How can I get prepared to be sure that I will qualify, I'll be competent on these jobs, I will be able, like, how can I get prepared as a student now? Students, I want your ears to be open so that you listen from this big man. Well dressed, Joe. Very well dressed. I like your outfit today.
But you can make somebody feel too big. However, I am small. Thank you. Well, can you hear me? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
Very well.
Great. Thanks. So regarding colleagues who are still in school, student scholars in the medical fraternity, and maybe asking around what they need to do to prepare themselves. Yes, you've mentioned one important thing already, Yvette, that is volunteering. Volunteering, especially if you're a medical student, comes very, very handy, especially when you reach clinical classes, like when they are teaching you clinical stuff as opposed to basic sciences. You volunteer first to gain a few skills and maybe to consolidate the theoretical knowledge you've got from class. But also you'll realize that your volunteering also builds you the network, the professional network. So volunteering should be really something you don't need to be told. You only just need to think about it. Every vacation you have, you're going back to your village or to wherever you've come from school, and then you know you can, I mean, you already have maybe in the mind that I would want to work with this kind of people or this kind of organization. And if they ever exist in your locality, then begin to show yourself to them as early as you are still in school. Because then when you finish and then you come knocking at their doors, it becomes something already known. Again, this is not corruption. This is just understanding that I have worked with someone before who was volunteering, giving their free time and energy, and I trust that they can do the work, and then I will speak for them. So that's one very important tip for any student to undertake. Registering for an online course, my senior colleague Jurugo mentioned about it. Sometimes we are too academic in our interests that we only want to stick to that small content of what we are supposed to be taught. And then we forget that we live in the digital world where even a degree can be in your pocket through your phone. I don't mean you should register for big things, short courses that you think will align with your interest of where you want to work or what you want to do after school. That can be very helpful. Say if you want to work for an organization and you have tried to read about that organization from their website, some organizations do have links to career development or courses that are meant to build up their staff. If those courses are accessible for you, even if you are not a staff, they are free, they are open to everybody, why not enroll for something, study it? Maybe some of them are 3 weeks, 4 weeks courses. You finish that and maybe you can download an e-certificate. You realize when you graduate and you are putting some of these things in your CV, when you apply to this organization, somebody will be like, oh, so-and-so has already known so much about our organization and could be an asset. So it doesn't mean you should only do courses from organization websites. Any other short courses you can really enroll for that build your skills, build your knowledge are very, very helpful. And when you add that to your CV, as opposed to your current classmate who has not done anything apart from the academic stuff, you will definitely stand out. And that's where the competition is. Again, demonstrating leadership, even you are in school, is helpful. It shouldn't be all about student bodies in your universities or institutions that you should belong to and really be willing to take up responsibilities. Well, for some people, it comes at a cost, like your performance may drop a little bit, but as long as you are not failing to repeat a year or a semester, then there should be no harm in you participating in those activities, building your networks, because those will be the same people who will speak for you some other time. So while you are at school, try to build leadership skills and experience, and that might come in very, very handy. The fourth thing I would like to say is building IT skills. Yes, apart from maybe physical examination of a patient, which is head to toe, and you cannot probably do that using an IT app, you realize most of what we do these days is about the technology. And there's so much in the technology world that you can explore and learn skills from. Like you could learn about certain applications that you think when you get a job in a certain place will be helpful for you to be knowledgeable about. So why not learn about them? The basic Microsoft packages. Many people even go through university and they don't know really how to write or type a letter or draft presentation slides and stuff like that. This is a very, very important skill these days that is required almost at every workplace. Okay, so technology is one good friend of yours that you want to build together. And then, of course, at the end of the day, make sure you graduate, right? So stay in class, pass your exams, graduate, and then you go out there looking for the job you want with the paper that can give you that kind of job. I think I'll stop there for now, Yvette.
Yes, thank you very much, Ledru. I'm going to try to quote your very good voice. So he just said that as medical students, as well as other health professional students, let's say nurses, midwives, occupational therapists, because here we are a range of people, we have to engage in voluntary activities because they bring for us networks. Another important thing he said, we have to minimize the time for movies and then do some online courses and IT skills as well. he told us that most of these jobs, they require some IT skills and online courses. So if we have some certification, it is very much helpful. So as students, let's try to remove our movie hours and try to invest in ourselves. So it means we prepare before. This is up for us. This is our time to start. Say you're not starting after you graduate. You start when you're still in school. So let's take note on that. And there is something that I really loved. So for me, when I went to the university, I thought that the performance matters everything. But for Lejo, he said, yes, don't fail, but have average performance with some other skills. So I don't know if you agree with him. I'm waiting to listen from you in the comments. The first thing, like one stands for making sure you have great marks. Like you are academically strong, you have 90%, that is one. And then two, having average marks, and then you have some extra skills. For example, you have those IT skills, you have these online scores, you have this volunteerism CV. So what should you go for? Do you go for one or do you go for two? So let me know. If you go for one, type one. One, these are books people. Like this one only studying, doing physical exam, conducting a vaginal delivery, conducting a CS, doing an intravenous injection, like mastering these classes things. And then two, you have to have an average performance, but then you've gotten some other skills like volunteerism, like everything else, IT skills and these online courses. So let me know which one you go for. In the meantime, we are close to ending our webinar. If you have any other question, you have to type in the comments. But in the meantime, I want to confirm Durgo. I can just see everyone is on 2. I am on 2 as well. In this world, marks only now. You have to have some extra skills. Yeah. So on a personal level, I know people who finish the university knowing everything, but who cannot be able to draft, for example, a letter for themselves. That exists. Who doesn't know how to write an essay? Who doesn't know how to write a CV, for example? And these ones are only gotten in extracurricular activities. So for me, I also go for 2 because I witnessed, these people who can just come to you, write for me a letter. Speaking on my perspective, now in Rwanda, they want people to do their residencies in Ethiopia. One of my colleagues just reached my inbox and then he said, Yvette, I knew you were in this RVCP things and everything. Would you draft for me a motivation letter? And I was like, you're a medical doctor in the hospital, you want to go for a residency program, but you can't write for yourself a motivation letter to go to Ethiopia. So you can see how hard it is. And yet you're a graduate, you're serving people, but there's some extra life skills that you're missing in the meantime. And these ones, they are actually important. Speaking on this webinar we are in today, big organizations, people, not small, just big and big ones. So in the meantime, I want you to send your questions in the chat, but coming to Jurugo, would you share with us some resources or website where you can be searching for jobs? Because in the meantime, you can see where it is written, for example, share this to 20 people, you're going to get the job. Share this on your email, you're going to get the job. So what are the relevant resources? What are the relevant websites so that we are not scammed? Adding on these opportunities also being shared by the Medical Scholar Board via email every month. But also I want you to tackle on the LinkedIn thing. Some people think that LinkedIn is just a scam. Would you tell us the resources and websites which are relevant and tackle on the LinkedIn stuff as well? Welcome, Jurugo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you for that. Yes, that's Jurugo. Yes, thank you for that question. And of course, with the internet, there is a lot of scam these days, and one has to navigate carefully on where to get these jobs. But I think the kind of jobs one should do one should have a passion in the kind of job that you want to do. For example, if you are passionate about child health, I think the website of UNICEF is very important and resourceful. From child health is wide, including even nutrition. If you're interested about building technical kind of strategies that can be adopted to be used globally, the career website for WHO is really important, and the jobs are there, the global jobs are there, including the country jobs are there. I think looking for jobs in the websites of these big organizations is really crucial. If you are passionate about maternal care, reproductive health, sexual reproductive health, family planning, and gender-based violence, instead of immigration health, look at IOM and all these. If you're interested about humanitarian work, look at international UNHCR and all these. So the most important strategy to me is to look at the career websites of all these organizations. And we are gifted with Google and all these online platform. Now we have AI. I think the most important thing is really to streamline your search by the organization you are interested in working for. Looking at your country and look at the people you admire, that you would like to be like them and probably work for them, and look at the websites of their organization. For those from South Sudan, there's a website called NGO Forum, South Sudan NGO Forum. That one has all the local jobs from all organizations and companies. And then globally, if you want to work in the humanitarian sector, there is Relief Web International. So you go to Relief Web / international jobs. This one you will get all the relief jobs that are advertised on the humanitarian sector globally, whether you want to work in the Middle East or in South America or anywhere. So I would suggest that the most important strategy is to look at the websites of the organizations that you really want to work for. Coming to LinkedIn, I am fortunate to have gotten a job through LinkedIn. And of course, that only happened while in London. I think probably the jobs that, yeah. Yes, I was, and when you go to my LinkedIn profile, you'll see that the job was gotten through LinkedIn. I think if I haven't removed that thing, because LinkedIn likes, it likes those things. Like they ask you, did you get this job through us? And then you can check it, yes or no. So LinkedIn is an upcoming platform, and it's a very good platform for networking. Like you will find people from your class, people from the same network. If you are interested in maybe reproductive health, or you are interested in epidemiology, you'll be able to follow them and learn. And these people and these different organizations will be able to post jobs. I have seen a lot of jobs that are posted on LinkedIn. And of course, look at who is posting. Go to the profile of the individual who posted. Who do they work for? Do they work for a bigger organization, a bigger company? If you're interested to work for a company, like these, there was a vaccine company. I applied. I was called for that interview. The position was to be based in Nairobi and South Africa. Unfortunately, I didn't go through. That was also a painful rejection. So the most important thing is to look for the individuals who have posted this. Go to their profile so that you cannot be scammed. Otherwise, scammers also take advantage of LinkedIn to scam people. So be careful, look at the different organizations. Also, different big organizations have their LinkedIn profiles. You can check their profile on LinkedIn. In most cases, they post the jobs that are there. And of course, let's embrace technology. Let's not say, LinkedIn is only for scammers. No, we have to search carefully. It's the same as Google. If you do not search carefully, you can easily be scammed. So let's be strategic in our search, the websites of the organizations, and also the pages of those organizations on LinkedIn, and also who posted that post, that advert on LinkedIn. Research is very important to research, and also ask around. The good thing with LinkedIn is that you can inbox that person directly and say, hey, I'm considering applying to this position. Would you want to look through my CV? I think that is a very important thing, right? Networking on LinkedIn. So please do that and get to learn
and talk to the people who have posted these jobs. You may even discover that they are scammers, and in most cases they are not. So please, let's be strategic. Let's research as we look for these jobs. But the most important thing is that look at the websites of these different organizations. You will be able to find the jobs you want. All these organizations have their career websites, so look at them. You use Google search strategically. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Durgo for mentioning on the Thank you very much for talking that for you personally, you were able to get a job through LinkedIn, so it means it works. But as you said, we have to be to question like who posted this and is it relevant or it is not. But you also mentioned on the Lilith web. I don't know if you can share with us the link to the Lilith web in the chat. I've just written it in words, but you can share the link to the Lilith web maybe. So where international jobs are also posted. Ledru, could you add something on the relevant resources? Ledru?
Yeah, Yvette, I'm with you. I think most of the things Yurgo has really mentioned them, and I don't want to repeat them. The organization's careers websites are there, so it will be really helpful. NGO Forum, I think, also exists in Uganda. I think almost, I don't know really, but I think most countries that have NGOs in them will have NGO Forum, because NGO Forum is usually an advocacy body that brings together NGOs and companies that subscribe to it, so that they can speak with one voice to the government of the country. Yes, so there's NGO Forum in South Sudan, there's NGO Forum in Uganda. Everybody in this call could try to look up if it is there in their country, and therefore their website will be very helpful for advertising jobs. I might only add UN Jobs. UN Jobs is another website or link that you could also get jobs from. I have just posted the link to that. When you click that link, all UN jobs across many countries, you can find them there. And of course, those are jobs that are advertised by UN agencies. It could be WHO, it could be UNHCR, it could be any of the UN family organizations. So UN Jobs is also maybe another helpful site. If you also come from a country such as South Sudan, there's still a lot of jobs being advertised on public notice boards. Definitely, you don't want to miss that. You want to look at any other notice board in town if you are really seriously searching. Of course, media, both the print and the audio or audiovisual media like radios and TVs, still people do advertise there, maybe not so much these days, but you don't want to miss any opportunity of getting a job anyway. So you could still try that. And of course, personal networks. We talked about this a lot in this call, and we encourage that you do make those networks of people, professional friends who will be willing to let you know in case there is an opportunity. You know, sometimes organizations will do internal adverts that are meant to promote somebody within the setting of the staff, but many times they don't succeed, and then they end up advertising it to the outside applicants. But if you have a friend in a certain place or NGO that knows your capabilities and wants to speak for you, you know, they might be the first people to tip you off and so on. So that might also be another thing. But really, most of the things Yurgo has discussed them. I think that's all I could add, Yvette. Thank you.
Yes, so thank you very much, Ledru. As we are to end the webinar, we are already 9 minutes late. So there is a question from Nuradin Zakaria. So she said, she's a student, or he is a student in medicine and surgery. Then during the strike here in Nigeria, he started a degree in Bachelor of Journalism and Mass Media. And it was a scholarship. So it was a distance learning program that he challenged himself, or she challenged himself to start. So can this augment his or her chance to get questions? Like, how is journalism and Yes, how is this bachelor is doing quite relevant, find a job in this big organization. Like, is there any other chance? Yeah, it's a bachelor in journalism and communications. He just wanted to see if it is relevant to get a job. Maybe Leju can answer.
Yeah, thanks. I think I actually read the question earlier. Well, if you will seek to be employed as a communications person, you definitely might have a chance there because you might already have the qualification for communications. I think probably all these organizations do have somebody for communications. Their work is mostly to design messages regarding their projects, how to communicate to the public and stuff like that. So if you do have that qualification, of course, it will not give you a medicine and surgery kind of job, but it will give you a communications job. And why not? You could be employed there. If you still have the interest to go back for medicine and surgery, you can make some money from communication and go back for medicine and surgery anyway. When you finish both, that means you can survive. If medicine and surgery is not doing well for you, you go to communication and vice versa. So you might be better off than somebody with a single degree anyway. That would be my response, Yvette.
Yes, so thank you very much, Leju. Yes, in the meantime, as I make a summary, would you also share some websites where you can access short courses with certificates? Like the recommended ones, you can maybe add them in the comments, either Leju or Jurugo or any other one who may know this website, where someone can do these online jobs and get the certifications. I don't know if you can type that or if you can say that, Leju. Would you say or type?
I think I'll need to confirm the ones I think of now, whether they give it for everybody or for staff, because that is one different thing here. But I think we'll use the WhatsApp group to share such links for short courses that are free for everybody. We might share in the WhatsApp group.
So
Thank you.
Maybe you can share some in the comments as well, in the chat, I mean.
Yeah, let me just look it up.
Yes, sir. So to close this interesting webinar, I just have 10 important things that I just wanted us to recall. I've been noting them down as been speaking so that we get a summary and those ones who missed can catch up. I'm going to go very quickly since we are already 12 minutes late. So the first thing that our panelists of today told us was the passion, like knowing what you want first. Do you want maternal health? Do you know child health? Do you want diabetes? Do you want hypertension? Do you want what? So define your passion. And the second thing, you have to study masters. People, not that. They told us that we have to study. Kindly, let's try to find master's degrees for these ones who graduated. 3, for these ones in school, volunteering is very important, but also doing some online courses and getting some certificates as well. 4, most of these jobs, they are contractualized, they are on contract basis, which means if you get one job, it should prepare you from getting another one. So make sure that wherever you are proving yourself for the next job because you're obviously moving. 5, this job contains a lot of travels, but that sounds very okay on my side. I don't know about the other ones, but okay for me. 6, you have to have a mentor in your field. A mentor who you don't go to drink with, but who share career opportunities. 7, you must know your organization of interest and then try searching them via websites now, the 8th point. There is the Leaf Web, there is LinkedIn. So you have to go, they shared with us the link. There are UN jobs website they shared with us. So you have to go through them and then see where we can fit. 9, we must have interview skills as well as civil writing skills. We have to make sure that we know well how to work on our CVs and the interview as well. And who can guess the 10th one? I don't know, but I'll be waiting for you to also share what you learned in the comments. But the 10th I noted is rejection is okay. Whether you are rejected once, whether you are rejected twice, whether you are rejected 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, rejection is okay. So let's keep embracing life and swim through. I'm waiting for also your takeaways in the comments. These were mine on my side. And as a note of thanks, I want to thank our great panelists. We've been having internet issues. I'm really sorry for that, but I think we made it for the webinar to go smoothly and well. So thank you very much, Leju, for being with us. Thank you very much, Jurugo, for being with us. I don't know if you can say hi. And thank you very much, everyone who managed to be with us up to the end of the session. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, Anyanja, Ainatwe, Bangura, Catherine, Cecilia, Crystal, Davis, Emmanuel, Jenta, Jenica, Innocent, Irmia, Isaac, Isata, Joseph, Joe, Katrina, Kum, Marie Doris, Mori, Naomi, Nuradine, Onazai, Precious, Sharon, Anyatro, Thomas, Usman, Victorina, Yusuf Cassidy. Thank you very much for being with us. I don't know if you can put on your camera and maybe say hi, because they are all from the same family of health professionals. I'm really glad to have been having you today. Thank you for insights. I don't know if everyone can on the camera and say hi and thank you and bye and everything you feel like saying as we close up to this webinar. So thank you very much for being with us. Thank you. I think it was very much good. I don't know if it was good or if it was bad or average. If it was good, type 1. If it was bad, type 2. And if it was average, type 3. Feedback as we prepare for the next session. So I'm hoping that you learned a lot. Thank you very much for being with us. Yes, it's only one. Oh my God. Kudos to the WWMI family. So I don't have any other thing to say unless telling you bye. So everyone have a good rest of the day, others rest of the night, because they're in the different time zone. Thank you for being with us. There are a lot being prepared for you by the Medical Scholar Board. Just be alert. We are coming for you. Thank you very much. Can you please resend the link to the page? I'm going to make sure that for this webinar is recorded in a due. We are going to share the link via your email so that you can access it for those ones who missed, and the links as well. But I'm trying to share them. Let me try to reshare the links. So share the UN link. Now the Relief Web. Yes. Copy. So at least I'm confident that everyone knows about the Relief Web today. And the WhatsApp link, let me share it with you. The WhatsApp link. The WhatsApp link, it's here. Yes, so thank you very much. We are all from one family, WMI. Let's keep sharing links and making it to life, becoming successful as well. So thank you, everyone. I just have to say, I think I missed no question. Yes. So I just have to say bye to everyone. Thank you very much for being with us today. Bye, everyone. Bye, bye. Bye, Christabel. Arthur. Yes, bye, everyone. Thank you for being with us. Bye, Nuridiana Zakaria. I'm going to connect with you to the LinkedIn with the link you shared. Yes. Thank you very much for appreciating. It's now time to go. Bye, bye, everyone. At 20 on top, we close the webinar. So bye, Emmanuel, bye, Joe, bye, Ainatwe. Yes, well done. Oh, thank you for appreciating, Ellen. Thank you, thank you. One minute to go. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. The webinar ends now. Thank you, Isata. Bye.